Hello, fellow fight fans. Welcome to the Untitled Fightcast number 006. This past weekend, both Jon Jones and Valentina Shevchenko defended their titles and remained champions. But today, we have something else to talk about, something that's honestly very, very important. And that is the quote-unquote new and improved Fight Pass, because I absolutely cannot stand this shit. I am sorry, but other than looking better, it is unquestionably worse than it was, and let's just get into it. So before I go shitting on the new Fight Pass, which if for some reason that's going to bother you, leave now, but let's start with the good things about the new and improved Fight Pass. The first thing is the look. Now, it didn't look bad before. In fact, I think it looked pretty good in terms of aesthetic and designs. But that being said, there was just so much red on the last site that, it can be very assaulting on the eyes. So now everything is a much darker, muted color palette, and the only things that are really in red are things that they want you to pay attention to. So I think that overall the look has been greatly improved, both in the user experience and just the overall look. It looks cleaner. That being said, that's about it. Now let's move on to the player, which also has been improved quite a bit. You can double click to minimize and maximize. That's a nice little feature that every video player should have. You can even change the playback speed, which is great because being that it's MMA, sometimes you might want to go back and watch something in slow motion because not every little moment has a slow-mo replay in between rounds. Now on the old player, there was no way to skip ahead or behind on the keyboard. Now you can use the arrow keys left and right to go back or forward 5 seconds, and they even let you use J and L to skip forward and behind 10 seconds. This is a little feature that I actually found out through the YouTube player. On YouTube, you can use J and L to skip 10 seconds instead of 5, and it's a great little feature, even though lots of people probably don't know about it. The fact that it's there is great. It's wonderful. That being said, the video player on mobile, on your phone, not nearly as good in the sense that if you want to skip forward or behind, you get to skip ahead 30 seconds or behind 30 seconds. And if you've watched MMA even for a little bit, you know that 30 seconds might as well be halfway to forever. And I don't know, someone at the UFC or maybe at ESPN, ever since they started partnering up, someone made this decision to just arbitrarily pick 30 seconds for whatever reason. I really legitimately, I cannot figure out one good reason to take options away from people. And when I say take options away from people, I'm saying you're forcing people to skip ahead or behind 30 seconds. If they want to skip ahead 30 seconds, they'll skip ahead 10 seconds 3 times or skip ahead by 5 seconds 6 times. This happens very quickly. I do it on YouTube all the time. You double tap, skip ahead 10 seconds, and then you just tap 2 more times and oh my god, now it's 30 seconds. But to say that I can't skip ahead 5 or 10 seconds, I mean, if you're really gonna force my hand, at least make it 10. Why is it 30? It's so fucking stupid. And there's no way to change the video quality on mobile or on the computer or Xbox, so you're just kind of stuck with whatever quality you have. I mean, some people, might not have the best bandwidth, so it's going to stutter at a higher resolution. Well, some people might be totally content to sit there, let the video buffer out, and then watch it at a higher resolution. This is all about giving as many options to your paying customers as possible. This is not rocket science. This is nothing crazy. This is simple ease of use, user experience. As someone who's not a professional in the field, but as a customer, I can very easily tell you these are not crazy things. This is not new, innovative stuff. This is baseline, normal stuff that it should just have. But this is only the beginning of the things in the new and improved Fight Pass that bother the fuck out of me. But this is where things truly start to get, just absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous, and frankly, even if this was a free service, which it's not, and I'm paying for it, which is a huge sticking point of this, but just frankly unacceptable. Fucking Christ, where do I start? Well, let's start with the actual search functionality, because one of the biggest things they always say, in between rounds or in between fights, very often John Anik will talk about, hey, new and improved Fight Fight Pass. Go check it out. It has improved search capabilities. Well, John Anik, I know you're reading from a script. Maybe you haven't watched Fight Pass recently or used the search function recently, but not only is it not improved search capabilities, it has regressed so far back that it makes me want to punt a small baby across the goddamn room. So let's start with the search bar. You type some stuff in and some stuff pops up. Cool. We have now achieved the bare minimum that you need for search capabilities. Now, when stuff pops up, how is it ordered? Well, in the old version, it would list them in a couple different categories, being events, like the entire thing, like a numbered UFC event or UFC fight night, individual bouts, so so-and-so versus so-and-so, and if applicable, a profile would come up for the fighter. With the new one, it's just a jumbled mess, but real quick, back to the fighter profiles. So if you want to look up a fighter's profile, you can totally do that. You do have to go under more on the top row of options on the site. And the fighter profiles page is surprisingly decent. The pound for pound listing comes up. You can change pound for pound to the individual weight classes. You can go A to Z. This part's great. Once you actually click on the fighter's profile though, let's start off with the first thing that comes up after the fighter stats is latest videos. And for Jon Jones, the first thing that comes up is UFC 235. Jones versus Smith. Well, that's not even his last fight before Reyes. So latest videos isn't even latest videos. Then if we scroll down to his recent fights, you can't click on the fighters in those recent fights, which you really should be able to do to get the other fighters' profiles. And there's also no way to look up all the events they were in, all the bouts they were in. It's just, once again, substandard, not up to snuff. But back to the search capabilities, when stuff comes up now, it's ordered in 3 different ways. Live and upcoming, which is usually the least helpful option because I'm not going on Fight Pass to figure out when something's going to be. I can very easily look up the UFC schedule in a multitude of different places. When I go on Fight Pass, I'm usually going to watch something that has already happened. And from what I'm aware, that's how most people use Fight Pass. So the next category that your search results are categorized in is videos, which actually, I take it back. Funny enough, that might be the least useful categorization of the search results because, well, I mean, what the fuck else did I think was going to come up on a video streaming platform? What, are we separating the videos from the articles on the site? Which, by the way, there are none. There are no articles to read. This is ridiculous. One search for Daniel came up with 895 videos. And guess what? There's absolutely no way to sort through them. 10 videos pop up, and then right below them it says load more. So you click it, and 10 more videos pop up. And if you want to keep looking, you now get to sit there and keep hitting load more until you hopefully just come across what you're looking for. Now, Daniel is a very broad search. I get it. You can search other less broad things, but the fact of the matter is that when the videos come up, you just have to scroll and hope that you find what you're looking for. And if you don't, God forbid you don't find what you're looking for, now you get the pleasure of going all the way back through the unsorted list. What the fuck? And the last search result categorization is a playlist section, which is okay. I'm not actually terribly against that. But then when you click on the playlist, there's no way to sort through the videos in the playlist. And lastly, I want to touch on the fight library, which is just as bad, maybe worse, depends on how you look at it. But again, at the end of the day, frankly, it's just unacceptable. You used to have all the same options in the fight library. You click on the fight library, you can refine your search by, the things I said before. And I know there's even more search refinements that I'm forgetting. And I tried to use the Wayback Machine to look up the old version of UFC Fight Pass, and it doesn't work properly. So I can't even go back and see all the different checkboxes there were. I know there was at least, 1 or 2 more, but I mean, even with just the ones that I listed, not only are there more, but they're also more useful. But now if you want to go into the fight library and you want to watch a Strikeforce match or something from CFFC or Invicta, you get the pleasure of just scrolling down the page until you find it. And it's not even like the first page of options is all like just the organizations. I don't know if this is the same for everybody, if the order is a little bit different. But the first thing for me is the UFC replays of 2020, then 2019, and then all the other years are in a row under that. Okay, I'll keep it real. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Then I got recent events. Then I got the Contender Series. And then the first organization finally comes up, and it's Pride. So it's not even in alphabetical order. And what? There's quite a few other organizations before P in the fucking alphabet. There is no rhyme or reason from what I can tell for the ordering of these categories. And as you'll see, the categories are all in rows. You can't click on the categories to then bring up a new page where it's just a page, full of videos that you can at least scroll through, because that's what we have to do anyhow on the fucking search results page. No, you get to just scroll left and right through a row, which is even worse than scrolling through an entire page of videos, because you're now limiting how many things I can see at once. So you're not going to let me refine my search in any meaningful way, and then you're going to then minimize how many things I can see at once. That does not make my search easier. I get to scroll to the right and hope I just find the thing, and just hope that I find it. This is utterly ridiculous and frankly unacceptable. And another quick side note, while I'm shitting on Fight Pass, I'm going to shit on ESPN Plus too, because I have such a big problem with their video player, because it is the single worst video player that I have found on the entire internet. Now, you can't skip forward and backwards with the buttons, which is terrible, because do you have any idea how frustrating it is to skip over the commercials that they leave in the replays, by the way? When I'm watching a 2 or 3 hour event, it's not exactly easy to manually skip through and not skip past the point that I'm trying to get to. I mean, even with the buttons, you can skip past the point, but at least it's a couple seconds. If I skip past the thing and then I try to go back by a little bit and now I'm behind it, it's so fucking frustrating. It is the bane of my existence, but even worse, to the point that it is egregious and an affront to video players on the internet in general. The motherfucking spacebar does not play or pause the video. Are you serious? This is the single most basic function of any video player in terms of user experience and ease of use, when it comes to the keyboard. So I need to click on the video now I know this might sound like nitpicking of first world problems, but imagine if you couldn't pause YouTube with the spacebar. And I'm aware there's quite a number of people that for whatever reason don't use the spacebar to stop and start videos. But for the most of you out there who are not crazy individuals, we use the spacebar. It's very easy. It's a nice big fucking button on your keyboard to stop and start the video without having to worry about where my mouse is. But the thing that makes this worse, aside from the fact that I'm also paying for ESPN Plus, is that this isn't just some website. This is the world's largest sports network and sports media company. And you're telling me that your video media player cannot stop and start with the fucking spacebar? You are literally shitting in my mouth. But at the end of the day, first off, both of these services could be free, and this is already an egregious insult to anyone who watches videos on the internet. But I am actually paying for a substandard experience. So, if you can't tell, I'm frustrated. As a matter of fact, I'm really fucking frustrated. Every single time I go on Fight Pass now, I'm just sad, and it just eats a little bit more of my soul, because I love this sport, not just more than any sport, considering it's the only sport that I watch, but more than lots of things, just in general, just in life. MMA and combat sports make me very happy. And so, I just hate that I'm paying for a service where, whether it was one person or a team of people, is most likely a team of people. They made one good decision in terms of giving the website a facelift, which congrats, gold star on one decent-ish decision, but then made too many regressions in the service that is frankly unacceptable. And it's not like these decisions happen overnight. I'm sure that there was, or would at least hope, that there were lengthy talks about the changes to be made to the Fight Pass service. And that's what I'm saying. It's not like they were just making Fight Pass and saying, well, I don't know what we need. These things things were already there. They made the conscious decision to take out basically some of the best parts of Fight Pass, which, funny enough, isn't even the goddamn videos themselves. It's how you get to the videos that you want. It should be easy. I shouldn't have to think about whether or not, if I look up a video, how long it's gonna take me to find it. This is 2020, motherfuckers. This should take, you should be able to find a video on Fight Pass in under a minute. And that's even pushing it. I mean, really shouldn't even take a minute, because a minute when you're waiting and looking and frustrated, it feels like forever. If you're watching this, and especially if you are a Fight Pass subscriber, I would really love for you, or really anyone, to please share this video. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you subscribe. I just want to get this information out, because if we don't say something about it, if we don't bring it to the attention, if we don't make a stink about this, it's gonna stay like this for God knows how long. It could literally be years. Years. Because once again, John Anik in his script is saying, the new and improved UFC Fight Pass with better search capabilities. I mean, people probably just think that's true. And it's not. And it's a blatant lie. It is a stab in the back of all the loyal fans who use Fight Pass. And again, even if this was a free service, this would still be unacceptable. But the fact that I am paying for it, and many people are paying for it, and we had what was arguably a very wonderful experience with the previous version of Fight Pass, and they literally just took a dump in our mouths and said, well, it looks better, but that's literally like making food that looks better. You worked on the presentation of the food. You put garnishes on the dish, and I don't know, you laid out the sauce in a nice pattern, but then the food tastes 8 times worse than it did before. This is unacceptable in every definition of the word. But for those of you watching, thank you for the support. Again, I'd really love if you shared this video, and if you could even tag, the UFC in your sharing of this, or tag Dana White, tag someone that matters. I mean, I'm gonna share this on all my social medias and try to get someone at the UFC to see this and hopefully make a change. But holy fuck, I really need your guys' help. But yeah, thank you for the support, and I will see y'all next week.